Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Weekend Warrior Show, presented to you by me, Rhys Lawrence, and apparently Tom Cruise over there, Sean Covington, joins us from California. It's fitting that he wears the shades, I imagine. But yeah, Sean, another episode, but I mean, really, we're just going to be recapping UFC 275 because I think for the first time in a little while, for me anyway, I think there's been a bit of a lull. I mean, obviously you had May's pay-per-view with Gaethje and Poirier, and the names on that card, it was big, but obviously with Oliveira missing the weight, we still view him as a champion. But I think just really, if you exclude that card, there hasn't really been a big excitement and buzz around recently. And I think last night, yes, you can look at the card and say that, name value, it might have not been great outside of three big fights, but I mean, the whole card delivered, and
yeah, it was a good card.
I loved it, to be honest. It's the first time for a while that I've actually thought, like, from start to finish, that it was just solid. Well, outside of because we're going to come on to the three main fights, but perhaps for me there was a good 3 or 4 fights outside of those that were interesting to watch as well.
Let me get the sponsor stuff real quick. Keep going. Let me get the sponsor stuff so I can hold it in my hand.
Yeah. Listen, it was probably I'd say probably the best card of the year so far. Just because the way the fights were ending. There's big fights, obviously, towards the end. As Sean brings in our little bits of sponsorships here, but yeah, it was just. I mean, we're going to get through it. It was a overall really, really good card, but I think Sean wants to show the camera a little something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Sean, you want to just have a few words on some of the new things that we've got lined up for Weekend Warrior Show?
No. If they can't see it, they're not listening. It's a YouTube show, guys. Come on. Here's our sponsor right here. Now, one of my friends who is a genius or an idiot brought up how to pronounce the name. I say Flaviar. He said maybe it's Flaviar. I said, stop talking to me and I'm never coming over again. So you tell me which one it is. Anyway, so the top part comes with a coaster, which is great because I didn't see that coming at all. But the top part comes with a coaster, the one that your samples are contained in. It's empty right now, obviously, but man, this is I'm gonna keep this nice little box. It's a carton actually, but it's pretty nice. Thank you, Flaviar, for more babies like that one over there. You can see that baby. It's a baby over there. Anyway, when you get off the Flaviar, you make babies sometimes.
Well, it's more like.
Can you hear me okay? It says my microphone changed.
Yeah, I can hear you.
There we go. I changed it back, I think. 1 second. Integrated webcam and boom. Okay, yep. That's the right got it. Audio test, people. I don't need those. My eyes aren't red. Let's go. Valentina lost that fight. That's what you want me to say.
We're going to go into that. Just quickly though. There's some names that they got the wins. Brendan Allen got the win on the prelims. Prelims were solid. I mean, a few decisions, but
when people get knocked out the way they did on the prelims, it's pretty great. I saw a couple of knockouts on the prelims where people were stretched.
Yeah, I mean, Steve Garcia getting knocked out quite badly there. Prelims were pretty solid. Obviously, the main card kicked off, and it was just violence the whole way
Oh,
through.
yeah.
I mean, it was perfection, really. You know, you had Jack Maddalena with. I mean, I was thinking, Sean, when I was watching it, that I don't think I've seen a faster striker since Cody, and that's obviously not like a going off of all the fights that you've seen of him, obviously predominantly a wrestler. So to see him strike that quick, and I mean, he just couldn't miss against Fialio, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing, to be honest, because it just felt like every punch he landed that it was going to kill him. Like, it was that bad.
It was a lot of that in this card. Like, I saw a lot of punches. I was like, oh, you're going to die if you catch another one. Damn it, Glover. Why did you pull guard? You won that fight, except you pulled guard. We're going to get to that, though. Damn.
Yeah, I mean,
that man won that fight and then pulled guard and was like, oh, you're going to lose now because you gave him top position.
Yeah. I mean, sorry, excuse me. Jake Matthews with the win over Fahalo was the striking battle I was on about. Jack Maddalena with the big win against Ramazan Emeev, who, you know,
casuals like the prelims and the main card. Like, casuals understood the sport from that.
Oh, for sure. I think
I was with casuals and newer fans. You know, like, they would watch UFC every week if it were like that.
I mean, yeah, definitely.
So would we, you know, like, so would we, like,
well, you know, we watch them all, and obviously you're human, and you watch some fights and you think this is a bit of a drag, but nothing much is happening in the week. Obviously, I love the wrestling exchanges and things. I was surprised at the fact that it was in Singapore, and you know, traditionally they don't get very many events come to their country, and you hear boos. And almost immediately as fights go down onto the ground, and you think, what, like, we're never here. The UFC must be thinking, we're never here. We're getting booed for fighters taken to the ground. I just thought it was a bit strange, but obviously that changed as the fights went on. Jack Maddalena with a big win. Ramazan Emeev almost submitted him in, I think it was round 1. But he gets out of it and he comes back for the knockout. But Jake Matthews, like I said, just before that, Weili, Zhang, Joanna Jędrzejczyk fight that we're going to get on to next, Sean. Jay Matthews, great performance. Just very, very surprising, I thought. You know, I wasn't expecting that from him, but congratulations.
It was the type of card where you get noticed. People don't forget the cards. You know, we talk all the time about it. People aren't going to forget the card because it was a good card. Yeah. And the fights that were stacked on it. So if you did well on this card, your name will come up again for a payday. Like, you're going to be on another stacked card again. The card wasn't stacked, but now it is. You see what I'm saying? Like, definitely. In retrospect, it's stacked because of what happened. So
yeah. It could have been a stinker, but it wasn't.
Right. And because there was a lot of finishes and stuff like that, and dramatic finishes, exciting finishes, now you can put these same people on another card, and it's like, oh, okay, we got a banger. That's how you're supposed to do it. That's something that pro wrestling can't do. You can have a great match in pro wrestling, and that don't mean shit. Like, you still a bum, you're still gonna job, whatever. In MMA, you can make yourself in a fight. You can make yourself from fight to fight. In pro wrestling, it takes a long time. Stellar performances. I mean, you can do it in a performance, but like, you got to be like Ricochet or someone. Like, you got to be so stupid talented that it's ridiculous. But in MMA, you can knock a motherfucker out and then be, you know, set for the next pay-per-view. Well, and that's what we saw. Yeah. That's what we saw. Yeah. A lot of people are going to be set up. So we're going to be looking at this card at the end of the year and going through these names and saying, oh, yeah, that was on the JJ and Zhang card, or, you know, the card
Procházka fight, you know.
Yeah. I can't say his name. I'm not gonna pretend that I can. Well, say his full name. Say his full name and I'll get it. Say his full name.
Jiří Procházka.
Jiří, got it.
Jiří Procházka.
I didn't hear what else you said.
Procházka.
I was trying
That's
to.
how it is.
So I was able to say it fine, but like you get the
Yeah.
yips when it comes to names, and like I was
Yeah.
gonna mess it up. He shouldn't have won that fight. But anyway, we'll go to that. He lost that fight thoroughly.
Well, he won it with 30 seconds to go, but if he hadn't
Hell
done
of a
that,
fight,
he
man.
was going to lose. We're going to get onto it, Sean. We're going to do
Yeah.
it in chronological for the fans. But, I mean, talking about that, I like that point about, looking back and remembering cards, because I do that as well. You think back of some of the great cards and you always remember 3 or 4 fights on it that just made it. UFC 261 recently was so just incredible because of the comeback from fans. Masvidal's knockout of Jorge Masvidal, Rose's knockout of Yang Weili. You just remember, and Chris Weidman, of course. So you can remember different things. You don't always just remember great things. You remember seeing what happened to his leg. It's just, it stays with you, and this card definitely will. Obviously, there was perhaps, I'm not saying controversy, because it's not like you can say that there was a robbery in the co-main, but we will get onto that. I sort of second Sean's point. I thought Taila Santos did enough to win, but we'll talk about it in a second.
Right. I had it 3-2. And that's
Yeah.
weird. Like I said, if I was just scoring it and I didn't know what I knew, it's 3-2 Santos. But I would have gave the first round to Valentina. I did give the first round to Valentina because I knew better. That's not how you're supposed to score fights. She lost that fight straight up. It's weird. She lost it straight up. If we're not bullshitting and talking about champion and this and that, she fucking lost. And that's okay. She lost though. We got to be real about that. She lost that fight in front of us. A lot of people weren't super mad. My buddy was like, he said, position isn't control. It has to do with it, but it's not in and of itself control. He's correct. You can have a position, but that doesn't mean you control that position necessarily. Sometimes you only control it until the person can dominate you. In this case, Santos controlled and had the position. Like Valentina also, in a fit of rage, I guess, or stupidity, pulled guard. She shouldn't have her title, and it kind of upsets me a little bit. But she shouldn't have her title right now. She looked past her opponent. She wasn't as good on the ground as she was, and she was nearly tapped out a few times, not a couple, a few. That's a loss. If we're being real, that was a straight up loss. It's fight by fight, not champion's advantage, right? There's no fucking count. There's no count out or anything like that, right? There's no champion's advantage in MMA. This performance has to be a winner or you lose. And she had a loser performance. Her opponent had a more dominant performance by 1 point. A friend of mine brought up, there's no way if it's a split decision, it's 49-46. He was disgusted by that, appalled. And he's right. There's no way it's 49-46. How? It was a split decision. So that means you automatically had to see it a certain way, not she blatantly won. That's ridiculous. Did Valentina just outright win to anybody?
Well, you said a lot there.
My bad.
No, because like I said, I know where you're coming from, and I feel the same. I actually think, how you said about round one, you thought Santos won, but you know that the judges are going to look at it as a Shevchenko round because of before the mistake that she made. Shevchenko was winning the first round, and I thought at the time, because I just go on. If you think of 3 judges, I go, okay, so out of 3, at least 1 is going to give that as the first round to Shevchenko. So it's going to be 1-1 by the end of round 2. Because I think all 3 judges gave Taila Santos second round, which they should have.
Right.
But we're going to come on to this in a, or we can just do it now, because I feel there's more controversy around that than obviously Zhang Weili's win against Joanna, because that felt more Zhang was still, trying to chase back the belt, and Joanna's, are now retiring. So we'll get on to that in a second. But picking up on this Shevchenko controversy, obviously I scored it 3-2. Santos, I thought Santos won the first, the second, and the fourth.
To be honest with you, she won the first 3 rounds, and
I think three's where it was a bit.
She won 4 rounds, if I'm being honest. If you go back and look at it, Shevchenko didn't win 2 rounds in that. We could say she did. Name the 2, because that 5th round she lost. It doesn't matter how beat up your opponent looks. If you can't control it, or if you can't capitalize on what you did to your opponent, that's not a win for you. Like, somebody had to win or lose the round. And if you don't capitalize on the damage you did, you're going to lose it. And I think that's fair. Valentina lost 4 rounds in that fight. 4. If you want Dominic Reyes versus John Jones, that's what it was. If you want to think of it in terms of, if you want to compare it, that was the fight it was. Dominic Reyes dominated for 4 rounds. In the 4th round, was he in deep water? Yes, very deep water. I think he lost. He won the 4th barely, 10-9. 5th he lost. He was too tired. He was gassed. And I could say the same for this. Like, the 5th round, Santos definitely lost. But how did she lose the 4th? I don't think she lost the 4th round. In fact,
I think the eye had something to do with it, maybe. The cut eye. It was a bad cut.
Sure, that's damage, but she got headbutted also. So we can't put the damage on the fight itself. It was an accident. People, you can take a headbutt in a sparring and be out of a fight and say, "Oh, I can't fight because I got cut open." Speaking of cuts, that fight after this one should have been stopped, but whatever. I'm not gonna go there. Wow, that main event was nuts. They gotta run it back, and Glover should have won. He's an idiot, but not yet. We're not on that yet. Valentina had her toughest test yet. She outright lost that fight, and I kind of felt like she would. If you think about Amanda Nunes, she was looking so far ahead, and so was Valentina, because they're going to face each other. They should face each other, I should say. And I saw it coming. It was a trap fight. Like I said last week on the show, it was a trap fight. So did you have enough to give Santos a 4th round, or was it just 3-2 for you?
I think, obviously, Shevchenko definitely won. I think there's an argument that she won 2, but I can't argue there was 3 rounds there. Convincing rounds, there wasn't 3. So
not at all.
There's a default to 3-2 Santos for me. You look at 1 round and it's like a 50-50 almost. Whether that's round 3 or 4, but Sean, when
I say 1-2-4, 1-2-4.
Well, Sean, you can count them all you want, and I think you do this as well. Like me, you just watch the thing, you just watch it, and you just get the feeling, and you know who's won, who's lost, and for me, Santos won. So yeah.
It's I don't know, man. I mean, you can't. It's an official decision, so it's not like Valentina can actually do anything about it. Like, vacate the title. It's like, well, who cares? Like, you won the fight, they scored it. It is what it is. But she didn't. There's no way she wanted to win like that. She definitely lost that fight. They're gonna fight again, but that doesn't mean that it's gonna be the same fight. I don't
know if they do fight again.
They're gonna fight again. Valentina has no competition.
No, I know, but I don't think Valentina stays in the division. I think she goes up. So
even if she does, they will fight again because they just have to. There's no other money fights. There's nothing close to competition to Valentina.
Well, there's the Nunes fight.
But that's it. But that's it. Joanna's done, and there's no one else for her to fight except Amanda Nunes, maybe Pena, That's also a trap fight. Amanda Nunes should beat the hell out of Pena. It should end in the first minute. I'm not even lying. It should end in first round. Easy.
Well, that's what we said. That's what we thought 7 months ago, and look what's happened.
That's what everybody else said. I saw Pena possibly making. Sometimes it's just time. You're right. We all said that Amanda Nunes would win in seconds. She chose not to do that. I don't know why, but she did. Maybe she got a big payday. She bet on You can bet against yourself. She could have Pete Rosed it. Pete Rose didn't bet against himself. He bet on himself though. So maybe she bet on the game. I don't know. Bet on the fight and through the fight. Is that illegal? Maybe. No, actually, it's not. I don't give a shit whether she did it or not. But my point is, something else was going on with that fight that she.
Do you feel like what you're saying there? Because I kind of agree with you, but with Shevchenko, obviously there's the element of looking past their opponent. And me and you both said before on the preview show last week that Santos obviously is the hardest challenge. You could see that in the odds before the fight. We said
she shouldn't overlook her, and
19-1. Just a great fighter, absolutely dominating everyone that she'd fought up to that point. And we thought that this is a banana, a slip up, and I just, it showed. I thought she won. So, do you think? Perhaps, obviously, Valentina might have looked past a little bit, thinking that Pena or Nunes will be next, because she did mention it in her interview afterwards as well about bantamweight.
Yeah, she was looking past it, man. Like, she wasn't ready for that, because Valentina. When has Valentina ever dominated on the ground? Never.
She dominated.
She was dominated.
No, in this fight, but when you look at the previous ones, even though she's not like a incredible wrestler, she has dominated very good wrestlers. So it's
right.
She wasn't
like Holly Holm, like a Holly Holm. She's
or a Jessica Andrade.
Holly Holm was strong, and that's what kept Holly Holm from just outright losing that fight with Shevchenko, because she was clearly outmatched, but like she was just strong and able to keep her off of her. Valentina. She's gonna have a big problem of. She's gonna have a really big problem of. Does she look past her opponent the next time? Because I guess Amanda Nunes is next, or if it's Pena, Valentina loses. I tell you why. We didn't think that Valentina was going to lose this fight. Well, actually, we did. It was a trap fight.
It was a possibility. We did.
Right.
I still picked Shevchenko before the fight, but I was thinking that I was
picking Santos. I mean, sure, okay. Like, I didn't pick against Valentina, but like, I was pretty sure Santos could win, and she did. If we're being honest. And I did the same thing with Pena, but I also did the same thing with Megan Anderson. Is that her name? Megan? Whatever. Yeah. So.
Yeah, she looked terrified in there.
Yeah.
But listen.
I don't have a great track record. I mean, it's pretty good, but like I bet on Megan Anderson.
It's fun in games as well when you pick, but there is a bit of insight that goes into it. She watched so many, and obviously with this one, I always leave with a bit of a bitter taste because of when you see a result go that way and you just don't agree with it. I just think that sometimes it ruins a little bit of the specialty towards the card because I think the wrong person won. It was close. It was close. It was 3-2 maximum. I can't say 4-1 Shevchenko is. I half expected to see. There's always one judge. I always say that there's two judges that might see it normally.
49-46 is disgraceful. That's
it's
not
an insult. It's an insult to
that's not true. Yes, Santos. We think she won the fight, and then some guy said not even close, and it's like what? No, like, you out of your mind. Whatever. I think the judging needs to be fixed, but I mean,
yeah.
Don't let it go to
judge.
Is it? Don't let it
it's
go.
It's not new, but right. Well, you had that, but before that you had a more decisive fight with Weili Zhang. Now, before the fight, obviously there was a 2-year layoff for Joanna, but within the fight that we seen in that time. I felt it was very close. It was another 3-2 performance 2 years ago, March 2020, before pandemic started. And Joanna, I felt won. It was close. I could see the argument for Weili. This time, Weili left no doubt. And you could
lead her ass out, boy.
You could see it as well. I mean, we're going to get onto the actual fight, but when you see Joanna's body language shaking her head, but then also just sort of accepting what happened, hugging everyone, started to strap the gloves off, you felt that it was over. And would it have been over? Would it have been over if she'd won? I don't think so. But I mean, now it's a great end to a great career because, well, not a great end, but considering what she's gone through and what she's come back from.
It was a great end. She fought a great competitor for the second time. It was another loss, but it was a great fight though. It was up to that point. It was another all-time classic, and then bam, laid out.
I mean, that's the fight game. People forget. People short memory. She was that division for a long time.
She was the GOAT. She was I'm sorry, give me 1 second. It was she was Jose Aldo. She's the Jose Aldo the women's division. She was. If you think about it, yeah. That's exactly who she was. She could go with anybody. She could still fight no matter what. Highly skilled. She's Jose Aldo. I'm just naming someone adjacent, not naming a man to say, oh, she's got to be compared to a man. Fuck you if you think that. I'm just naming another fighter, not you, the audience, whoever's listening to this. He's sexist, whatever. I'm just hey, the interns are acting up. Eat your paid for sponsored breakfast.
Your Flavor breakfast.
Yeah. Right, eat your Flavor breakfast.
Your next level breakfast.
Eat your brandy Wheaties or whatever.
Yeah.
Brandy flakes. No, but she's definitely the female Jose Aldo. If you think about it, she dominated for so long and nobody could touch her, and then she lost. But to high level competition, but you still thought that she could beat the same people she lost to. That's definitely Jose Aldo all day.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, incredible career. Obviously, people get emotional in broadcasting. I felt it myself just because of what she's meant to the sport. And
only 35.
I think it's good as well to get out because, listen, when you lose twice to Weili, you would probably have to face her again in terms of to get back to a title. You know that all she wants is a title shot because that's the type of fighter she is, just a winner, just wants to be the top.
That was old Zhang Li too. That was the one that won the title. The way she stormed Joanna.
Vicious one, yeah. So
she stormed her.
I feel it's good that we'll get onto Weili in a second, but I feel it's good for
Esparza's in trouble.
Oh yeah, for sure. And we're going to get onto that in a second, but Joanna, I think it's a good idea to get out now because look at the last fight, Sean. There's a little too much damage to be taken.
Only 35 years old. She said she'd been doing it for 20 years. It's weird. And I was like, people was like, really? And the whole room was like, damn, just 35? And I was like, yeah, think about Rey Mysterio, though. He's been doing it for the same amount of time. He's been doing it for 30 years, and he's 45. But he was 15 when he started.
Yeah, they're like a baby when they start.
Right, man. It's
you're at the top level anyway, so.
Yeah, it adds up. It's just, when you're at the top level, it doesn't seem like it. How old is Jose Aldo? He's not
33, 34.
Wait, hold on. No fucking way. Yep, you're going to have to edit that. And edit it again. No fucking way Jose Aldo is in his 30s.
For sure he is.
Yeah, but you see what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
If you're fighting for 40 years and you're 38, I mean...
Man's been fighting for 50 years and he's 29. It's crazy, but great.
I know
career.
What I said, people. I know what I said.
And
I'm saying that's how crazy it is. It's I've been fighting for 40 years. It's dude, you're 38. It's well, that means he's been fighting for 35 years, since he was 3 years old. But it's ridiculous still. It's
Weili Zhang, bounces back from the title loss in a great way against still one, in my opinion, the top 3 best strawweights in the world.
Here's where it gets crazy.
So where does Carla Esparza go with this? I mean, Carla's like you said, I think you disagreed with me that they'll run that rematch back with Rose. So do they move right to Weili?
They're not gonna run that back.
Do they move right to Weili though? That's the question.
Man. Hell yeah. They need an exciting champion that fights. She just retired Joanna. She beat her twice. She retired her, and that's the person you want the title on. They didn't want it on her at first because she's Chinese and they're not kind about certain things, I guess. And Zhang Weili. Zhang Weili. No, UFC did not want that belt on Zhang Weili.
No, and Zhang Weili.
And she she told Carla Esparza, like, let's fight in a neutral place. It's not my home. It's not your home. Mm-hmm. Carla Esparza needs to run that fade. She's done. She's gonna get wasted.
It feels, you know what it feels like, Sean? It feels like when Jessica Andrade.
I wouldn't say that if this Zhang Weili that wouldn't have showed up. Like, if we hadn't seen this fight, if it wasn't that particular fighter in that particular mode, no way do I pick Zhang Weili because we saw her just lose, right?
Well,
he just lost.
But Sean, listen to this. You remember when Jessica Andrade slammed Rose Namajunas on her head and won the belt? Now, we all remember, and some people might not want to admit it, but when that fight ended, we all knew who was the better fighter and who just who we seen what was going on, and then when Weili Zhang got to fight Jessica for the belt, we seen what happened. I feel the same is going to happen with Carla, where Carla's got the belt right now. Does it actually mean she's the real champion if they put her up against Weili Zhang?
Here's the thing. The fact, I know what you mean. She's not, I guess technically she isn't the more skilled fighter. I guess we could say that, but like, it was Rose did not show up in that fight at all.
No.
So whatever fighter she is, she didn't show us. She's not the better fighter. What we want to say is skill wise, yeah, Rose is better. There's no way we should give her that respect because of what she showed us. So although we want to give us the highest respect, she does not deserve the respect that of a champion, not above Carla Esparza. She is not, and I repeat, Rose Namajunas is not a better fighter than Carla Esparza. Get ready for the edit. Fuck you if you don't think so. Not you, audience. Don't give a shit. You're wrong. That is why the title is on Carla Esparza. Now, yes, we just talked about a fight where the title should be on someone else, and it should, but like, guess what? You can't argue it anyway. Thug Rose isn't better than Carla Esparza right now. It only takes one fight, though. You know, like, if we
subjective to just one fight. Look at what happened. So
we're talking about 2 rounds in the Jessica Andrade fight. Sure, she's better than her in 2 rounds, and then she gets slammed. She wasn't better after that. You know, like, so.
No, she wasn't. She wasn't better then. She was. Yeah.
Zhang Weili is going to she should steamroll Carla Esparza because it's different. It's not.
The odds would suggest that, you would probably imagine, and just people's
the type of fight is going to be. She's going to be engaged. Carla Esparza is probably still on a I just won high. It's not tough to say. Like, Carla Esparza is going to lose, and I mean that. Because
we don't know We don't know if it's going to be Weili next, though. I can't say with certainty.
Who
else?
Can't say it. Who else?
But you can't assume that they're just banking on the fact that the fight would go anyway, similar with the Rose rematch. I think they look at it and go, "Listen, it can't be like that again." Because Rose can't. Man, but Rose can't fight like that again.
No, stop it.
I don't think so. I don't think they can look at that and go,
"Hey man, we're business partners, we're friends." Cut the bullshit.
I'm not. I'm being real.
How dare you say they're gonna have a rematch? Dana White said, "No fucking way they're having a rematch. They're not having a rematch, man. You've met my child. You've met my children, my wife. You've watched finals games with me, and you live across the pond. You are not allowed to say that they're having a rematch. You cannot take that stance." You can't take it. They're not having a rematch. You won't get to see it. And I'm glad you won't get to see it because I don't have to sit through it.
Hey, listen, I ain't advocating for it. I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there. I'm just throwing it out there. Just an option, you know.
Yeah, I don't think it happens because there's no reason to go back to it. That's actually their second fight. You know what I mean? So it's not a rematch. It's not. Yeah. That was the rematch. Yeah. And Thug Rose lost that one. Yeah. There's no reason they actually need to rematch.
Well, Max Holloway's getting a third fight, and he's lost two.
Then he lost them. They were actually fighting.
I'm just playing devil out.
Right. They were actually fighting, and he shouldn't have even lost those two fights. But
nah, he won the one of them at least.
At least one, and I mean I'm being gracious by saying at least one. He won both. Yeah. Volkanovski didn't do a single fucking thing to win that first fight. Nothing. He waited around and he didn't even fucking throw a real punch to the third round. If you ask me, I would have 10-8'd him in a round just because he wasn't trying. Are we being real? He didn't. What was he doing? Did he try at all before the third round? If I'm fourth round is where he picked it up and said, "I'm gonna fight now." I do not respect the way he fought at all. He fought for cards and scoring. He didn't fight to knock out Max Holloway. I believe this Volkanovski, though, I'm going to give him his credit, is fighting to knock out Max Holloway. I don't think he's trying to outpoint him. I think he wants to knock him the fuck out. Good. Okay. I'm okay with that. Let's see what you got. Well, the first fight, I did not respect what he did at all, nor would I ever. He didn't care about. He cared about outpointing and I'm gonna win this fight with scoring. Like you piece of trash, knock him out. Relax.
Well, I mean, it's interesting. That's actually a good comparison between those two fights because
love this show.
Oh yeah. Who wouldn't? You know what I mean? It's like, come on now. No, but I think there is a bit of a parallel there because there is an argument that we don't know who's the better fighter between Rose and Carla right now because we can say that Carla won, but let's be honest, no one really won that fight because if you were to rematch it, Rose wouldn't do the same thing. So she would have a different game plan, just go back to what she's good at and do a normal game plan. That was a one-off game plan built just for that fight. Like that was never been shown before.
It was the second. You can't do it. That was your rematch. You lost to Carla Esparza, and then you rematched, and you lost again.
I would say yes until I've seen Max Holloway and Volkanovski break that mold. I don't know.
You're not wrong. And then Amanda Nunes and
Valentina Shevchenko's lost two to Nunes. They could go and do another fight. Right. It's like I don't think there's the rule on it anymore.
Here's where we come back to reality. Carla Esparza and Thug Rose Namajunas is not. They aren't Valentina and Amanda Nunes or Volkanovski and Max Holloway. They're not that good.
Well, in terms of what? In terms of name or?
Period. They're not. In terms of name, skill, they're not those types of fighters. They're not the absolute best. That's okay. It's weird. It's like, okay, they're Dolph Ziggler. I can put a title on Dolph Ziggler whenever I want to, right? They put the NXT title on him because they can. He can hold a tag title, the top title. He's great. He's good enough. But you got other people ahead of him that are better in other areas, okay? You got Roman Reigns. You're not going to make Dolph Ziggler your champion right now if Roman Reigns is this good. I get it, you know? So Thug Rose is good, but, like, she's no Roman Reigns. She's Dolph Ziggler. It's cool. I like Dolph.
I love when he just flicks in some WWE references in there and actually makes it kind of work. Right. He actually kind of makes them work. Like, let's be real. Like, if everyone's listening, like, I get it.
Yeah. People watch WWE. They lying. They full of shit.
Yeah,
they tell me all the time, I don't watch that, man. And then I'm at the bar and they're like, oh, yeah.
At least admit
Did you see Finn Balor last week? I'm like, how do you know who that is? You know?
Liv Morgan. Seen him on Sean, I'm happy. Seen him at the end of this month. I know you're happy for that as well.
No, I like John Cena. John Cena follows me on Twitter, guys. So if you're not doing it, you're messing up. You're missing out. He doesn't
But
reach me,
yeah,
but like he knows I exist.
yeah, he knows you exist in
You
all
know
cheap
who
and
I am.
California.
John Cena knows who I am, and he loves me.
Yeah, you're best
He
friends.
tell me he loved me.
So let's get into the main event because it was, like you said, incredible. I thought, obviously, I mean,
Incredibly sloppy, to be honest, but like
well, there
in a
was
good
only
way.
a,
It was
I
a
don't know if
fight.
there was a few mistakes. There was a few mistakes from Glover.
Well, no, but it's sloppy in a good way because it was a fight. Like they were
Oh, for
adjusting
sure.
on the fly. Like, oh
Yeah,
shit, he hit me in the eye. What do I do now? Like, rarely do we get to see fights like that.
and that cut was crazy. I mean, like you. I wasn't really watching it expecting it to be stopped, especially with Yuri, with his reaction to things. But you had that in the back of your mind when you seen the cut right over the eyebrow. You think, oh dear.
Should have been stopped.
See, but then he's won this belt, so how can you?
It's crazy, but I'm gonna be honest. Every cut I've ever seen like that, you
Has
have
been
to stop that
stopped.
fight. You
It's
have.
different with a title fight,
It's
though,
too.
isn't
It was
it?
too big. What the fuck? Like, no. If we talking about it in terms of safety, okay.
Yeah,
So
in terms of safety, yeah.
if he dies from his cut, if he gets infected or something, if he dies, fuck him, right?
I don't think
Who
he would,
cares?
but I know what you mean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
No, but you've got an
In
argument. The
terms of
safety
safety,
element, yeah, yeah.
in terms of safety, there's no way you get cut open like that and you continue to fight. Am I okay with it? Would I let it roll? Sure. But like by the book, the letter of the law, that fight's over once he gets cut open like that. In fact,
Yeah, I mean,
I know it's crazy,
no, go
right?
on. Yeah,
When
continue.
you saw it, didn't you in your head stop the fight? Think about it. Be for real. You want the fight to keep going, obviously.
Yeah.
But your head as a referee, because I know you went there. That's what
Yeah.
you went, damn, this fight's over. That's what you
I
said.
felt like it could have been stopped. Yeah, definitely.
That thought is what the referees are trained to do, no matter what. Not say, "Oh no, man, it's a great fight."
Yeah.
Right?
Could you imagine?
No, get out there. No, man.
Yeah.
No. Technically, it should have been a TKO. It should have been a TKO.
But when it's title fights, I do feel that there's a little bit more leeway with damage and with okay, some fights have been stopped prematurely in title fights, but the majority they're given every chance, and I feel like that fight was and for the fans, you would applaud that because what you got in that last round, where Jiří Procházka wins the belt. And he was 25 seconds away from losing the fight on all judges' scorecards. So I think one judge had it tied, but obviously the fifth round you couldn't argue that Glover wasn't winning that fifth round. So
when Glover pulled guard, I couldn't believe it.
I know.
There was no way
Slippy fifth
Yuri
round.
won that fight at all. Like there was no way. I was like, dude, I couldn't believe he did it. And my friend, my homie I was watching the fight with, one of them, he went like, what the fuck? He's like, why did he just pull? He was disgusted. He knew it's crazy. He had this look on his face, and he was just like he lost money, and he might have. I didn't ask him if he found the fight.
I bet he did. That's why.
He had this look on his face, like he was just upset. He was like, well, this fight's over. He knew it from the moment Glover Teixeira pulled guard that he was about to lose that fight. And I was looking at him. And I was like, how do you know? And I was like, man, what does he know that I don't? And I'm looking, and it's 30 seconds left. And I'm like, nah. I'm like, he did not move his face at all. He didn't move. He went, he was mumbling. He was like, man, I can't believe you pulled guard. And I'm like, athlete. I hang out with all athletes. I do. Jocks, I call my boy Sam Malone from Cheers because he used to pitch. He is a professional pitcher, professional baseball player.
Look at Sean getting out the contacts, yeah.
I didn't say his name. I didn't name drop,
No, no name drops. No, we don't need name drops.
Name drops. I'm just saying, your boy hang out with athletes. So anybody saying, oh, you're casual or you don't know athletes, I know people who would turn you into a pretzel and then buy you a drink afterwards. But no, he was watching the fight and his expression did not change from the moment Glover pulled guard, and I was like, damn. I knew it. I looked at his face, and when athletes know when somebody's lost. And he was like, damn, Glover just lost. And he did. There was no reason to pull guard at all. At all. Not that tired. Not in control. Hurry up, Wesley, please. Interns, you got to eat your food.
Well, Sean, I mean, it's a bit of a frustrating one, like overall, when you look back. Great fight. But for me, listen, we don't, you have favourites, let's be real. You like certain guys, you like certain girls, you like everyone. Some people don't like some people.
Yeah, I like all the girls. Hey.
Yeah, I know you do. No, but like for me, it took 42 years. Obviously, he's been fighting since he was born, but like most guys, it's 25 years of experience with Glover. It's similar to that. It took 42 years to become a UFC champion, and you lose it in one night, and you lose it within 25 seconds. Like, you could whittle it down to that. He was up, and that one decision to pull guard, and he slips, and it was never going to work. He could have stayed on his feet, and it's cost him.
I'm pretty hard on.
To be submitted as well, I think this will just get overlooked because of how good the fight was, and everyone will just go to fight of the year or one of the fights of the year. To actually submit Glover Teixeira is, for Jiří to do it that way as well. Like, he was behind and he submits the black belt that is Glover. For me, it's just, obviously it adds to how special that fight was, but you could argue that it's both Glover making a mistake and Jiří coming back and being in probably the best moment of his career that there ever will be for him.
He didn't look good enough to be a champion. Jiří did not look good enough to be a champion. He shouldn't have won that fight at all. But here's the problem. I shit on people all the time when their performance isn't up to par.
But then he said it himself that it wasn't. So you got to credit that.
Jiří's not a champion, and somebody's gonna fuck him up. He doesn't deserve that title. I know what he did. I get it, but Glover Teixeira lost that title as well, and that's where
there's an element of that, yeah, with a mistake. That's what I said. You could argue both ways.
Glover's a bum. Glover Teixeira's a bum. He should never. He fought like a bum. He didn't. He fought well. He fought like a champion until that last 30 seconds. Then he fought like a bum. He fought like a bum at the end. If you end like a bum, you are a bum. I'm just saying.
To make a mistake like that at that point.
That was a fucking bum. Sorry. That was a bum mistake. Was it not? No way a champion ever does that. And Valentina did it too, and she lost her fight too. If we being real, I know the
Valentina made this a mistake in her fight, pulling. Yeah,
the same thing. It was arrogant, stupid bullshit, thinking you're strong enough to withstand whatever that person's going to do when you pull guard. If you pull guard, you better snap their neck. You cannot just pull guard. Who does that? I'm a champion. I'm going to pull guard. No, you would never in a million years pull guard like that. At the end of a fight, they both did it at the end of a fight. In fights, they could have won. I say potentially because I'm just throwing them out there. It's 3-2 for both of them, right? Let's just say it's 3-2, both fights. You both pull guard. You deserve to lose your title. And
I feel like you could say. Yeah. Go on, continue.
Both challengers capitalized on them pulling guard. Both of them. Yeah. Both of them did.
Definitely.
One was scored one way, one was scored the other.
Jiří should thank Glover for doing that because it gave him the time to reset, literally lying on his chest because he was on top position. And
that's why Jiří's not favored going into the next fight. That's why I'm not going to get behind him. If you win your championship, like, here's the thing. We're not saying any of that about Charles Oliveira, are we? No. He's a champion. We know it. We've seen it. He's proved it many times over. We get that. He doesn't even have a title, and we won't speak of him in that same breath. Valentina and Glover Teixeira, they messed up. And Jiří, guess what? Doesn't deserve that title. That's okay. People aren't going to like it. They're going to say you're casual. No, he didn't fight his bet.
No, you're not. It's not saying that. Yeah. It's saying that you're looking at what the mistakes were made in the fight and thinking, if he were to do that against other opponents, would he survive? You're thinking, no. It's not saying, if he goes up against Ankalaev next, who is dominant,
he won't survive that fight.
Then, it's. I mean, it's a similar style to Glover, I suppose, with the wrestling, but. Because Glover was just trying to take him down all the time, and then sometimes didn't, and then sometimes did. It was chaotic. It was a great fight. It really was a great fight.
I mean, if we're being real, there are other people who are champions that probably would have been knocked out 10 times over in that fight, by either one of them. So
it was like there was no game plan but a game plan. Like it was right.
It was a great fight. It really was.
It was incredible.
And we haven't said enough about that. It was everything we wanted to see.
Let's focus on that because
it was sloppy. Yeah. It was great. It was a fight. You don't get to see an actual fight like that. That was a fight. It's like, who's gonna win? I don't know. I'll see when I go out this round. I'll try this. I'll try that. It was great. It was a lot of, let me see if I can do this. Let me see if I can do that. Oh man, he got the best of me. Oh shit, he cut me open. Oh man, he pulled guard. He did this. He did that. Like, it was all over the place, and it was great.
Yeah, and that's another thing when you watch a fight like that and you think it's going one way, it's going the other, it's going back that way. For it, then 30 seconds to go, they're starting to, the broadcast even themselves are starting to like sort of whittle down and think, that there's perhaps not enough time for anything to happen. Glover looks like he's won this round, he might have won the fight, and then all of a sudden there's a submission, and you think it's a kind of a perfect ending to the chaos that we've seen, because with 35 seconds to go, no one's expecting Jiří Procházka to get out of what he was in and then submit Glover. I can't believe he tapped, but he was in bad position, and he obviously wasn't going to get unconscious.
Like a bitch.
I just can't believe it.
Glover Teixeira went out like a bitch. He tapped in the last 30 seconds. His corner didn't tell him, hey, don't tap out. Hey, you know what? Not everybody taps out. They just go to sleep.
Yeah, Yuri's been submitted once, they said, in his career, and he didn't tap. So,
Glover went out like
he would have went out. I think he would have went out.
Right, Glover didn't. Seconds. How come Glover didn't go out? He tapped, bitch. That
Maybe
was
the rematch move. Straight away.
The great Glover Teixeira tapped out. He said, "No mas, enough is enough. I am a bitch, and therefore I quit." Can't believe he bitched out of that one. That made me sick to my stomach. Jiří lost. He lost. Damn well Glover Teixeira shouldn't have tapped out, but he was so. In the 5th round, that's it. You're gonna give up. Like, when Joanna got knocked out, it was more of a tired too. Like, if you look at how people get knocked out, like when she got knocked out, she was stretched. Like, it wasn't that she was knocked out cold. It was you can get knocked out and be like punch drunk. You can be so exhausted that something that normally doesn't knock you out knocks you out, and that's what happened with Joanna. And it happens with submissions too. Things that normally wouldn't tap you out because you're so tired, you have to tap out to them. You submit to them. That's what happened with Amanda Nunes. She tapped. She wasn't. Why did she tap? She had energy enough to do this, right? She could have just went to sleep. Just saying. If you do the tired tap out, I don't respect it. You need to actually get put to sleep. You know why? If you fought this long and this hard, go out and give that other person the victory they deserve. Let them go out and say there's no doubt that they submitted you. I don't want you to do none of this. No, don't tap out. Don't tap. No. Just go to sleep. Amanda Nunes should have went to sleep too. She didn't. She tapped and said, "Oh, I'm tired. This fight's over." Glover Teixeira, "Oh, I'm tired." 30 seconds. You tired with 30 seconds left? You bitch. I hope you listen to it. Go get your rematch. You went out like a bitch.
Well, don't know how I follow that, but I know where you're coming from, because some fighters do, some fighters don't. But listen, let's not take away from the fact that, like you said as well, it's a great fight. Phenomenal fight of the year, most likely, I'd imagine. But that was
in the description of this. Put Glover Teixeira went out like a bitch, please.
I'll let you do that.
Right.
So UFC 275 is in the books, and we move on, like everyone else does. A little bit of action, PFL. You've got obviously UFC and boxing with Joe Smith Jr. versus Beterbiev, which, tasty. But obviously mainly you've got UFC Fight Night, Cater Emmett. I think I reported something like that for Sportskeeda.
Jeremy Stevens is fighting in PFL again, right?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
so.
He should be on that card.
Well, he was on the first one, wasn't he? But obviously with the loss,
he's coming up again real soon.
You're right. He is. He's fighting Miles Price. He's obviously in the tournament.
Hope he loses again.
I
never believed in him. I believed in him when he went to PFL for some reason, and he let me down like the bitch that he is.
Big fish, small pond, I imagine. But obviously, it's not working out so far.
He don't know how to fish.
Alex Martinez in the main event for PFL. PFL still going with the tournament for the lightweights. Jeremy Stevens was in that. Alex Martinez coming off the win against Stevie Ray, Scottish Stevie Ray, upsetting for him. But yeah, we've got PFL, we've got boxing, and then we've got Calvin Cater, Josh Emmett. Quick prediction, Sean. I mean, also got few names on that card, but let's just go right to the main event. Calvin Cater, Josh Emmett. Who are you thinking on that fight?
Cater. He's got more. He's a bigger name, if that makes sense.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, but Josh Emmett's not a small name.
No,
but he's not a top. Depending on how he wins, he could switch spots with Calvin Cater. I'll say it like that.
Yeah.
If it were a brutal knockout, then we have to switch the name value.
Yeah.
Like Calvin Cater is worth this much. And then Josh Emmett's worth this much, and
you've got to think, Sean, that a win for Calvin Cater, I'd imagine, lines up. You got Volkanovski and Holloway fighting for the belt. Yeah. Whoever wins that, say Volkanovski wins, then Cater.
Let's not say that.
But if you're like most people that believe that Max Holloway surely got to get a win at some point and regains his title, you can't see an Ortega or a Cater getting the first dibs at that fight, because obviously they fought before. But let's just focus on Cater Emmett first. I mean, it's good. That'll probably be a good fight.
It's gonna be a great fight.
Emmett, just first team all violence. Comes off some crazy injuries as well to do it. So
I want to say something real quick.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
If Max Holloway loses, there's no way we respect him the same way we used to. He doesn't.
What do you mean loses in actually loses, or loses a close fight?
I don't give a damn how he loses.
But then if he lost but then you think he won.
If he loses another close fight, he lost. That's 3 losses. I don't care. I don't give a damn. That is his fault. That is his job. His job is to go out and win the fight. If he wins close, I guess that's okay. But I guess. But like if he loses close,
fine margins.
It's still a loss.
Yeah.
If he loses, it's just a loss, and he'll never be the guy we all thought he was. Greatest featherweight, my ass. He needs to win this. And everybody say, oh, no, he's great. Nope. I will never in my life ever respect Max Holloway on top of the throne if he loses this fight. Never. I'll always be there to shit on whoever says, Max Holloway, if you bring him up. And I hate Volkanovski. I don't like him as a person. I don't like him as a man. I don't give a shit how much weight he lost. I don't like his nasty. I don't like his nasty I'm better than you attitude. To me,
well,
To me, he's a jerk and a piece of shit. That's to me. I do respect him when I need to. I do. I have several times. I respect him as an athlete. Which is why I'm saying if he beats Max Holloway, I'm always gonna bring him up first. And I hate him. Hate his guts. I'm gonna bring him up first. Don't ever, and I mean ever, mention Max Holloway's fucking name if he loses this fight. I mean, not to you, everybody.
No, you love me. I know that. So that we'll talk more about that.
Max Holloway's a no, guys. That's what I said.
We're going to talk a bit more about that on July 2nd, because that's when that fight
coming up, boys.
Coming up. Good summer of fights upcoming. Expect a lot because I think there's more coming. Some unannounced yet. Obviously, one just got announced. Leon Edwards taking on Kamaru Usman. We sort of knew that was coming, but still. And we'll get our reactions to that maybe next week and talk about that a bit more. But
I want to know what you got in that fight. You got Adesanya or Cannonier?
Oh, the Cannonier fight?
We'll
talk about it more.
No.
I don't. I mean, don't mean like total.
Just give me a pick. Just give me a pick.
I won't say pick. I'll give you a pick. I'll not talk about it too much, but
right. Just give me a pick.
Oh, Adesanya. Yeah.
I got Cannonier.
And on that bombshell, we'll end. Well, listen, we'll talk about that off air actually a little bit, but we'll save that for the July pay-per-view. But so it was a good show, Sean. This show was good. Obviously, the show's always good, but good preview and good recap to what was an incredible pay-per-view card. We'll be back next Sunday, recapping and talking about everything. We'll probably just talk about a bit more MMA stuff. Also, it was more of a recap show, but we'll get more. Yes, and Glover Teixeira remains Sean's favourite fighter. But listen, guys, have a good start to your week, and we will talk again on next Sunday. So take care, have a good week. See you then. Bye.